Today's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna be reacting to a YouTube video on the My Wife Quit Her Job channel called The Ugly Truth About Print on Demand That No Guru Will Tell You. I haven't watched the video yet, so I'm as excited as you are to see what Steve at My Wife Quit Her Job has to say about print on demand. I'm familiar with him and his brand. Honestly, I used to listen to his podcast back in 2017 when I started my e-commerce journey. That was before I had ever made a sale on Amazon. So shout out to him. I am a fan, but I cannot wait to see what he's got to say in this video about print on demand. So let's get to it. All right, guys, let's get to it. By the way, I'm going to drop a link to the video we're watching in the description in case you want to check out Steve and his channel. Like I said, he inspired me to get started all the way back in 2017. So I do recommend and endorse him and his content.
In this video, I'll answer all the most commonly asked questions about print-on-demand dropshipping, including the questions that most people won't give you a straight answer on. Print-on-demand has a reputation for being a get-rich-quick scheme because it sounds too easy. You don't need to store inventory, you don't need to ship or fulfill orders, and you don't need that much money to get started, and all you gotta do is create designs and the print-on-demand company does the rest.
Pretty good description of print on demand if you ask me. What do you guys think? Does it sound too good to be true? Like, what happens when you tell people that have never heard of print on demand about how easy it is to start a POD business? I'd love to hear from you in the comments because like when I tell the wrong person, it's almost just like their eyes glaze over and their brain is a little bit broken at the idea that you can like work for yourself on a business that almost runs itself and set your own schedule and do all those things that we used to dream about. I think a lot of people my age give up on that dream at some point. But yeah, print on demand has afforded me that lifestyle for sure. So I'd love to know what you guys think when you tell people about print on demand. What's their reaction?
Now, while these statements are all technically true, a common misconception is that running a successful print-on-demand business is easy. But in reality, success with print-on-demand has many pros and cons and isn't as straightforward as you are led to believe. So in this video, I answer all the in-depth questions related to print-on-demand to provide you with a complete view on what it takes to run a profitable online store. Now, when it comes,
I will just say that Amazon merch really is about as easy as it gets with print on demand, right? They do literally everything and we get paid out a royalty for uploading designs. But obviously Amazon merch since about 2022 has gotten a lot harder to get into. So outside of Amazon merch, there's definitely a little bit more to it. By the way, Steve is more of a like Shopify guy and not just like Shopify print on demand. I don't even know if he talks about print on demand in his courses and whatnot, but I know that he's launched a very successful Shopify store, at least one, and then coaches people on how to start their own Shopify stores. I think he was like into drop shipping and whatnot with his courses, but they might have evolved over time. I haven't been keeping up to date with him recently.
when it comes to print-on-demand, all the gurus out there tend to focus on the positive aspects of print-on-demand, such as how easy it is and how cheap it is to start. But what they don't tell you is that the margins are pretty horrific. Sure, you have full control over pricing, but there's only so much money that you can charge for a t-shirt or a hoodie before no one will buy from you.
It's worth mentioning that you can still sell t-shirts for $19.99 plus shipping. So let's just say shipping's a wash. The fulfillment cost for some of those t-shirts, like if you sell a Gildan 5000, is like $9, if not lower on average. So you're making, after you pay an Amazon fee or an Etsy fee, or if you're on Shopify, you just pay a payment processing fee and you've got, $10 of profit in the t-shirt sale. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know Steve knows what he's talking about too, but I was going to say too, there's other hidden gem products out there. My private community, we stumbled upon a true hidden gem. This product is not on Printful or Printify. It's got very commonly a profit margin north of 40%. That's all I'm going to say.
For example, this t-shirt here from Printful costs $16.25, which includes printing on one side of the garment. Shipping for this garment is $4.69, which makes your cost a total of $20.94.
He glossed over the Printful growth, which the pricing's probably better today than it was when he recorded this video because I know they relaunched it, but the price on the Printful growth was like $14.50. Just saying, like, next level apparel, you don't have to sell that either. But I mean, even at $14.50, if you let the customer pay shipping, you've got, $5 and change profit on that sale.
Now, to make a profit of just $5, you need to sell your t-shirt for $26. If you want to make a paltry $10 per shirt, you have to price your shirt at $31. Now, realistically, most people won't be willing to pay $26 or $31 for a t-shirt unless you're a celebrity. Heck, the most I've ever paid for a t-shirt was $40 at a concert, but that was a special occasion. I would never pay that amount for the exact same t-shirt at a store. Sure, you can choose to sell a cheaper t-shirt from Printful, but if you want to sell a high quality product, then 15 to 16 bucks is what you'll have to pay. It is because
He makes a good point. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. Like, do you think you can sustain a business on, I don't even know, are they truly lower quality shirts? I guess on a relative basis, like a Gildan 5000 is not known for being a high quality shirt per se. Bella Canvas 3001 through Printify definitely is, around what, $9 and change to fulfill. Shipping, I think you just pass that on to the customer, so don't worry about that. That should be a wash. And $19.99 price point is kind of the price point that sticks out in my head for a t-shirt. I still think it's viable, personally.
Because of the extremely low margins of print on demand, that I decided to buy my own printer and print my own handkerchiefs and linens in-house. Now, for all of you who don't normally follow my channel, I recently launched a line of custom printed linens over at my store during the holiday season last year. I was fed
This is what he was doing back in 2017. I can't believe he's still doing it. And I can't believe he brought fulfillment in-house. That's crazy.
up with the margins of print on demand, so I said, screw it. I'm just gonna buy a printer and keep most of the profit. I ended up buying the Sublistar DTF Star 4 printer last year with the plan of launching a line of custom printed linens, and I'll give you a completely transparent rundown of the numbers compared to print on demand. Anyway, using my previous example, a printed t-shirt from Printful costs about $16.25. But when you print the exact same t-shirt yourself,
I wish he used a cheaper shirt, honestly. Even the Bella Canvas through Printful, which is a little bit higher price point than through Printify, but now they're the same company, so it doesn't even matter. That would have been a better comparison.
with a printer, it is way cheaper. First off, you can buy an apples to apples identical blank t-shirt for $4 or less in the United States. And if you source your shirts in
See, the problem is if you say apples to apples blank shirt, and then you gloss over the fact that there are very similar shirts available in the Printful catalog that he's not using in the example. I'm not trying to pick him apart either, but you get what I'm saying, guys, right? Like, this would have been, I'm sure he's going to do better if he's self-fulfilling, you know what I mean, by a big margin. But, starting with a next level shirt didn't do justice to the real, gap.
bulk from China, you can get them for $1.50 or less per shirt. I've owned my printer for about 5 months now, and the cost of ink and materials for an average shirt is about $1 for a pretty complicated design with lots of solid colors. But for most simpler designs, it's easily less than $1. So basically, your cost of goods to print a shirt is only about $5 as opposed to $16.25. And all of a sudden,
But how much is your time worth to have to worry about fulfilling those orders every day? You know what I mean?
you can list your t-shirt for only $15 and still make a 3x profit. And at $15, far more people are likely to buy from you. Now, the beauty of printing yourself is that lower prices leads to more sales, and the lower cost of goods leads to more profit. Higher margins also allows you to pay for advertising and still come out ahead. It is
Everything he just said is honestly, just write that down in your head. That's a great point. I know it's obvious, right? But especially if you're on, Amazon or Etsy, like if low prices are what it takes to convert a customer, to convince them to buy from you and not your competition, well, one sale tends to lead to 2 sales. As the algorithm begins to trust you, you convert at a high clip because you have good pricing and a quality product. Let's assume that everybody's got good designs and whatnot. Then you start to climb the ranks of the organic SEO, and then next thing you know, you're rolling. But then you're losing sleep, self-fulfilling orders too.
exponential. So overall, it's very hard to make a living selling print-on-demand t-shirts, and in order to make a decent wage, you have to sell a ton of shirts. For example, if you want to make $100,000 per year and you profit $5 per shirt, you have to sell 20,000 shirts per year or 55 shirts per day. Now, it can be done, but selling shirts at $26 each is going to be a tough sell.
Yes, what he just said, 100% agree. It can be done, guys. I mean, I've made 6-figure profits from print on demand every year since 2019. Have I done it just through selling t-shirts? No. Have I sold 20,000 t-shirts in a year? Maybe. I don't know. I've never really looked at just t-shirts, but it can be done. This is what I call Ryan's method. Take your product, list it on Amazon Merch, Amazon Seller Central, Etsy, eBay, Walmart, Redbubble, etc. Occupy as much online real estate as possible. Give yourself the best chance to succeed without needing to be an outlier, without needing to achieve statistical outlier success. You know what I mean? Make it easy on yourself.
By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below. Now, in my last print-on-demand video, some of you asked about my printer, so I'll give you a little preview here. I purchased the Sublistar Star 4 DTF printer back in 2023. Now, if you want to know how much it costs, use the link in the description below, but expect the printer to cost you between $6,000 to $10,000 depending on what you get. Occasionally,
That's a lot of money.
Sublistar will have a killer sale, so make sure you sign up for their newsletter. Anyway, if you use my link below, you'll get $500 in free printing supplies. The way the technology works is that you first print your design on a special film. Then you apply special powder and bake the film in an oven for 60 seconds. Then finally, you take your garment and place the film on top and then press the design onto the fabric. Now, for all of you who are wondering, this is the exact same technology that many print-on-demand providers use, and the quality is excellent. The design is dark and crisp and will survive many washings. Now,
I'm being 100% honest when I say this. You couldn't pay me $1 million a year to self-fulfill my print-on-demand orders. Like $1 million on top of what I already bring in annually. You could not pay me to want to do that. I'm not trying to sound stuck up or anything like that. Like that may be a bad take. Feel free to let me know in the comments. But like money isn't everything, man. Like money's not everything to me, at least. Like I got other things I'd rather be doing than printing, t-shirts and whatnot, when I know I can just lean on Printful and Printify to do it for me. You know what I mean? And with Amazon merch, they even handle customer service. Can't beat that.
Looking at the numbers right now, and we pretty much made up the cost of the printer in profit within about 3 months. And because the printer is paid off, everything I print from here on out is gravy in terms of profit. Now that being said, maintaining the printer is a bit more involved than your average desktop inkjet printer. For example, the machine is much messier than a normal printer, and you'll find yourself cleaning it at least once per week. Also, you have to run the cleaning cycle periodically, or else the print head can clog up over time. So basically, this isn't the type of printer that you occasionally use. You have to continue to use it regularly, or else the head will block up. The other drawback is you have to be familiar with Adobe Photoshop or other image editing software. For example, we get many orders per day for our printed merchandise, and to be efficient, you have to create a single file with all of your designs packed tightly so you don't waste film. Now, since I'm a former engineer,
it makes sense, right? Put all your designs on one piece of film. I'm sure there's alternative technologies to the printer he's reviewing, by the way. He's speaking specifically to the printer that he has. People have been pressing t-shirts for a long time. There's a lot of different ways to go about it.
Here, I wrote an Adobe Photoshop script that pulls all the orders off of the website, aligns them efficiently, and then sends the design to the printer automatically.
You saw that? So he wrote a script that does it automatically. I love that. Steve's a smart guy.
And as with anything in life, there's a learning curve, but the profits are worth it. The other aspect of print on demand that no guru will tell you about is the limited range of products and design options that print on demand companies offer. So for example, let's say you want to print on a very specific item and sell it in your store. Well, no print on demand company will be willing to print on merchandise that is not their own. One time we had a customer who wanted to print on a very specific brand of a towel that no print on demand company carries. But we were able to fulfill her order at a significant upcharge because with the Sublistar printer, we can pretty much print on anything. And in some cases, a print on demand company may even limit where you can print a design on the garment itself. For example, Custom Cat will not let you print a design on the sleeve of your garment. Again, with your own printer, you can print on anything, anywhere, even on a pair of canvas shoes.
For what it's worth, like Printful's got a ton of shoes in their catalog, and between Printful and Printify, there's I'm just guessing here, but I know there's at least like 400 products safely. There's probably over 500 products that you can print on, so it's worth noting that, right? And they're constantly onboarding new products.
The other downside to print on demand is that the quality of the products and the print can vary depending on the print on demand company. For example, if you decide to use Printify as your provider, Printify is actually made up of many different print-on-demand contractors with different equipment and different practices. If you place an identical order across 2 different providers on Printify, you'll probably get slightly different results. One time we used a print-on-demand company to print 50 t-shirts for my daughter's school team, and the print quality was poor on about 20% of the merchandise. Now, even though the print-on-demand company refunded us for the faulty shirts, we didn't have enough time to place another order because the processing time was so long. Which leads me to the next downside.
The plus side of Printify that he omitted is when it comes to processing times, the fact that you have different printers to choose from. If you're just doing t-shirts, by the way, you probably have a ton of different printers to choose from, like 15, 20. You know what I mean? You can look at their average processing time and whatnot. And if you are in a time crunch, you can usually pay a little bit more for, maybe you don't need to pay more. It's just theoretically, right? Like there's only going to be one company that is the cheapest, and relative to that company, all of them cost a little bit more. But you can look at the average fulfillment time And usually there's one that will accommodate you within like 24 hours, you know what I mean? Depending on the product and whatnot. So, and they also give you the company location. So that, that's the positive side to what he said. But yeah, I mean, in all companies, I wouldn't say it's a company thing, right? Like there's always going to be misprints if they're printing high enough volume, right? As far as I know, I've never had any issues with getting them either replaced or refunded.
Side of print on demand. Shipping can be more expensive and take longer to process than when you do it yourself. According to Printful's website, 97% of the orders are shipped within 5 business days and about half are shipped within 3 days. If a customer needs their order rush, which happens very often, especially during the holidays, well then you're out of luck. Now these next few aspects of print on demand are a little nit.
Yeah, the whole rush shipping thing, Printful used to offer priority. I don't know if they still do, but I never really messed around with that. It's just, that's a can of worms I would not recommend, by the way. If you're new to print on demand and you're thinking like, oh, maybe I'll make it work, and customers are really worried about shipping deadlines, trust me, it's better to just let them order from somebody else and let somebody else inherit that headache, because you could do everything right and the shipping company may do something wrong and then they'll expect a refund from you.
Picky, but they're annoying nonetheless. MyCase launched their own print-on-demand t-shirt store when they were 9 and 11 years old over at kidincharge.com, and the store has been running now for about 4 years. And in those 4 years, I can't tell you how many products have been discontinued. And whenever a product is discontinued, you have to go back onto the print-on-demand company's website and recreate the entire product all over again.
I did a video last week where I showed how to sync your existing products so that if something does get discontinued or, any issues potentially arise with whatever print-on-demand company you were using initially, well, you can easily switch them over to Printful or Printify and set it up so that they'll automatically fulfill future orders. I will link to that video in the YouTube cards right here and in the description.
Sure, the process only takes about 5 minutes, but imagine updating 50 or 100 products at a time. It gets tedious really quickly. The other thing that's annoying about selling print-on-demand products is that your provider may be out of stock on certain sizes of your merchandise.
That was a big issue last year with certain products during the election cycle. And it just is always an issue, right? Depends on what you're selling. You may run into it more often or not. Ever since COVID too, I feel like supply chains have been a little bit more, or maybe it was just for periods of time, but a little bit more shaky. You know what I mean? That's a great point.
And you won't find out unless a customer has placed an order on your website.
That's not necessarily true. Printful's good about emailing you ahead of time. Like their software will look if you have added a certain product to your store and email you and say, hey, you have this product in your store and this specific variation is out of stock. Like the color green is out of stock, right? The color blue is out of stock. So that's worth noting, but they won't, I don't think they email you if you don't actually like sell the product in one of your stores.
One holiday season, our print-on-demand provider just happened to run out of medium-sized t-shirts, which is the most common size that people buy. So we had to scramble and shift the product to a completely different t-shirt brand without testing the print quality or the shirt quality. Stuff like this happens all the time, and you have to stay on top of it. Print-on-demand is not truly set it and forget it. Also, if you're going to start a print-on-demand dropshipping business, you definitely want to build a brand. After all, selling printed merchandise is a very competitive industry because there are very few barriers to entry. But the problem with most print-on-demand companies is that your packaging and branding options are limited. Many print-on-demand companies do not allow you to include product inserts or other branding elements that make your brand stand out.
I just wanted to quickly mention that Printful's really good about the custom packaging options, inserts, customizing the packing slip, which you can do for free. If you guys didn't know that, go check it out. And you can do it for each one of your stores too, so worth noting.
And if they do allow you to include inserts or branding on the packaging, it will cost you extra. The price of the product is already expensive, but adding custom branding elements will make it even more expensive for the customer. But that's
because time is money, right?
The main concern that you all should have with print on demand is the rise of companies like Temu and Shein. Now, if you aren't familiar with Temu, it's a marketplace where consumers can buy products directly from China at rock bottom prices. And just to give you an example, a fully printed t-shirt from Temu costs $7 or less, including shipping from China, which takes about 7 to 15 days. And at that low price, it's hard to compete with Temu selling your own $26 shirt that is more or less the same.
Have y'all used Temu recently? When I first moved into our new home, I put the Temu app on my phone and I was like, what is this? Like, it was hard to check out. And it was so misleading with all the like crazy almost like fake gambling, you know, to try to get you to win a coupon or a free product or whatever. But I mean, if you guys have ever checked out Temu, like I personally am not concerned. I don't know why, but it reminded me of this marketplace, Wish. You guys remember that? They used to integrate with Printful. I used to use the Printful integration and sell on Wish. There was another one called Bonanza. Printful got rid of both those integrations. Look at the Wish stock, down 98.88% all time. Yeah, not doing well. That's a dying company. That's what a dying company looks like. $208 million market cap. Anyways, I'm not saying that'll happen to Temu if they've got, you know, like I get things out of China are a little bit different, but he's also covered. I mean, maybe he's about to plug a video on his channel. When he does videos about Temu, I usually watch, and things are not always sounding very positive out of that camp.
If you were to design a popular t-shirt that generates a lot of sales, I am willing to bet that it will be copied on Temu within a week. And it's $7 versus $26. You can't really compete with them unless you are printing your shirts yourself. In any case, I hope I didn't discourage you with print on demand too.
One note on that, guys, do not worry about getting in a pricing war and a race to the bottom. Like if you can just be active in your business, keep things fresh, you know what I mean? And it means different things to different people. You can go report, like do the infringement reports on, you know, people that do steal from you on most websites. I've never tried on Temu. Alternatively, you can just constantly be agile, be doing more research, creating new designs, keeping things fresh. That's how I prefer to go about it. And I mean, like I said, I've made six-figure profits every year since 2019. Last year was, I think, my biggest year profit-wise in 2024. So things are still going really well for me. By the way, I'm not trying to hate on Steve. You know what I mean? He takes a different approach. He's a Shopify guy. He's not really a print-on-demand guy as far as I know, unless that changed recently. I know he did his handkerchief business, absolutely crushed it. Pretty sure he launched multiple of those. He has his coaching, etc. He's a really smart, really sharp guy, really successful. I look up to Steve. So I just wanted to mention that as well. If I seemed like I was picking his stuff apart, I was just trying to defend the print-on-demand sellers. Most of my subscribers probably relate more to me than to Steve.
Too much here? I just want to make sure that you have all the facts before you jump in. Bottom line though, print on demand is a great way to dip your toes in the e-commerce waters without much upfront investment. But you'll probably never make life-changing money with this business model. Now that you understand the drawbacks of print on demand, watch this video here to learn all about the other e-commerce business models.
And virtually all the other e-commerce business models, without having to click and watch that video, are going to cost you more money. You know what I mean? Like he talked about buying a $5,000 printer for print on demand to self-fulfill orders. If you're doing like any other like e-commerce business, you're probably going to be spending more than that. Unless you want to do drop shipping, which that's not a real business. You know what I mean? That stuff just comes and goes. And if you're able to find a product that's successful, you know, you have to just get all your money out of it as quickly as possible before other people find it as well. And it just becomes saturated. So, and I'm not trying to like, oh, I am oversimplifying, but like really that's kind of what it is. Like I sold FBA, you know, it's not just the initial upfront product cost. It's that you then have to reorder before you go out of stock, and you'll be paying for the reorder before you get paid out for the sales from the first order. So you're going to be, yo, no, Ryan, it was only $3,000 to do FBA, launch a product. Yeah, but then you had to reorder it and the next order is going to be bigger than the first. So now you're paying another $6,000 and you're in for $9,000 before you even get paid out. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to have deep pockets for almost all other, I mean, yeah, I get there's other options. Okay. But I think I know where he's going with it. I sound like a hater. Guys, am I a hater? I do not mean to hate. I love print on demand. You know what I mean? It's helped me out a lot in terms of just shaping my life, you know, my e-commerce journey. I started thinking I was going to be an FBA seller, found out about print on demand, did both at the same time. To this day, I still do both, but my FBA profits are minuscule compared to my print on demand profits. I don't really have the pedal to the metal with FBA like I used to. Hey, what can I say? I'm a print on demand guy. You guys already knew that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out Steve's channel. I'll link to this video in the description, and I'll see you guys soon with another new video.